The Just In Case podcast with your hosts, Mike and Mike, driven by passion, defined by quality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Just In Case podcast brought to you by JSE Appliance Care. I am here with my co-host, Mike.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
We're happy to announce that we have a very special guest in the building. This gentleman's name is Sam. We have worked with him for many years previously at another employer. He's one of the best in the business. He could sweet talk his way out of anything, and we're very happy to have him on the show. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Sam, for coming.
Hey,
Sam.
guys. Thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Anytime.
So basically what we want to do is I think we want to try to hone in a bit on Sam's experience as a installer previously, because he did that prior to becoming a servicer. We're going to talk about some of the issues that we've seen out on the road with install related issues. It's important that we really talk about how serious those problems could become, because they end up really mimicking other issues. Something as simple as a unit being off kilter can not cause it to cool properly because the door is not closing properly. So we want to talk about the importance of that. But before we jump into all that, I want Sam to kind of give us a little bit of his history of how he got involved in the business, and kind of where you're at now, and we'll go from there.
So when I came to the States, I ended up working for an installer who works exclusively for a local dealer. And I was doing that for like 4 years. When I started as a helper, worked my way up. That job really fit into my strengths. The improvisation. You got to know a little bit of everything for.
Definitely.
Minor plumbing, minor electrical. So I learned a lot of it on the job. But previous jobs that I'd done kind of helped fit into that as well. Mm-hmm. And eventually I was running my own truck and installing more higher end brands, your Thermadors, Wolf Sub-Zeros, particularly the built-ins I got good at. And
how is it to install those? They're kind of a pain, or especially panels and everything?
They can be. I would say a big issue with that is the final touches. Yeah. You could spend an hour doing the hard part. Mm-hmm. And then the hard part is really with the customer. Yeah. How does this look? I want it to stand a little bit proud. I want it to be more flush.
Right. Yeah.
And you just, that becomes the 2-hour battle.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm always like, I guess you could say like taken back by the size of some of these units, because our expertise is not install, right?
No.
But you're looking at this unit, it looks like it's 1,000 pounds, and you're wondering how you're getting it up 2 flights of stairs.
That still amazes me. I don't know how people do that.
Yeah. So for us, we didn't always deliver. When we would deliver, it would be more usually ranges. We did double wall ovens, your Thermadors, your double M series Wolf ovens and stuff. Yeah. But we did mostly delivery on smaller appliances. If they were built-ins, like the Sub-Zeros, the column units, they would be delivered on site before we got there, and then we would install them.
Okay.
Also, they'd be waiting like in the kitchen. You don't have to bring them up the stairs or do any of that. They're sitting there waiting to go.
Exactly, and that's another thing we would run into. They would be like 2 rooms down, covered under construction debris.
So delivery and install is 2 separate things.
Can be. Okay. If it's the bigger stuff, a lot of times they'll do it.
I did actually installs too.
That's right, Sears.
Yeah, Sears, and we used to show up 9 times out of 10, the product was already there. Yeah. So, that definitely makes it a little easier. I wasn't doing built-ins and stuff. We were doing basic dishwasher, washer, dryer, whatever it is. But, so that's I think that's important to know that side of it and really, see how some of the more tedious work can be done, and you can slap that baby in there, but now you have to tweak it to where it's like literally an inch here and an inch there, and that's where it gets tedious. So
that becomes the nightmare.
Yeah. Listen, a lot of customers I feel that we run into are pretty understanding about a lot of the stuff we do. Yeah. But like we've had customers, like I think in the past week or so, they said to us, "Hey, listen, they had a Blue Star actually. It was a Blue Star built-in refrigerator, and they were like, could you adjust this to get it? And we were like, it's not our thing. Like we could try to, but I'd rather a professional who does just that do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's always funny too, because I feel like we have a lot of crossover as technicians, right? Because most of the time, like a dishwasher, you have to uninstall it. So you kind of are an installer
Basically,
also, but not on like those bigger column units. We're not taking those out very frequently.
Like a Samsung will roll out a fridge or a dishwasher, or even a small range. But when it comes to bigger stuff, you know, that's not something we do.
Yeah. What about, let's talk a little bit about, we're big onto floor protection and all that type of stuff. I mean, what are some of the tips and tricks that you guys have used over the years?
Two words, Masonite.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we love it.
Or else it's damage claim.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah, we I mean, we talked about this on other podcasts many times. We both have air sleds on our truck, and we love them, and they're great. It's such a good tool to have. I try to tell people as often as we can.
They look really cool too, you know. When you have it on your back,
yeah. And listen, it works well. If you know how to use it, it works well.
Yeah, it does.
But some people, they get a little afraid of it, I think, and they rather just try to manhandle a unit out. And I don't think that's always the best option. You know, you should really figure out a better way of doing it. And like I said, we do that. So, yeah, that's cool. I like that. What about, let's talk about your stint or your transition into a technician a little bit. How did that start? How long have you been a technician? And kind of go through that for us.
So I was doing installs for 4 years.
Okay.
Great company. That was, you know, really I wouldn't be in appliances if it wasn't for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that was good, and I learned a ton in that. And then to get into installs, into service, I was actually Mike knows it was Mike was kind of the layup there. My wife was friends with Mike's ex-wife, and you know, rest is history. I got an interview through Mike, and I think on my ride along the first day, you know, me and Mike hit it off, and it was I was training with you for a long time.
Yeah, it was a while. It was at least 3-4 months.
I would say even more.
Really?
It was different compared to other techs. At the time, I don't know if it was slow or what the situation was, but, you know, I was just happy to get that maybe 8-9 months on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the same boat I was in, too, to be honest with you. I mean, I train with him. I talk about it all the time. He's my mentor in this industry. He taught me everything I know, basically.
Is it Mr. Miyagi, right?
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi. He taught me a lot of what I know. And
or otherwise in the industry known as Papa Mike.
That's right.
Yeah, Papa Mike, that's right.
So, yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'm happy to hear. I mean, listen, I think Mike has actually touched a lot of technicians and taught them a lot of different things. And you know, I think we're all grateful for that. So kudos to Mike on that.
Thank you. Thank you. So how do you like installs or service better?
I prefer service. It's less of the lifting, more, you know, get to
solve problems too.
Solve problems a little bit more. They're both challenging, but I prefer service at this point.
Yeah.
Let me just say though as well, when I first went out on the road after, Mike, how many times a day would I call you?
I still do it. I still call him all the time.
I would call him maybe 5 times a day in the morning. Say, hey, Sammy, good morning. Yeah. And by 4 o'clock, Sam, Sam. Again.
I will say this guy has a lot of patience because if he could deal with me, he could deal with anyone. But
you got to be there for people, especially. It's not just if you train the person. When people need help, man, you got to be there to help them. You know. So everyone has more experience than the other, and you're always learning every day.
We always talk about this, and this is part of the reason why we have a podcast. To be quite honest with you, we feel that this industry, for whatever reason, has become very cutthroat.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a good look. I feel like we should be helping each other out. There's so much product out there. There's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
Why don't we help each other out?
Exactly.
And I don't know. I think I'm hoping that this can
merge it together a little bit.
I want people to talk more. I want us to be more on the same page.
Yep.
Like, I don't care if you work for a different servicer. Like, we have something in common. We're all technicians. We should learn from each other. I think that's super important. And that's why we're here, and that's why we're inviting people onto our podcast, and we want to talk about it, and we want there to be a positive narrative, and you know. So let us know out there what you guys are doing. I'm curious to see other companies. Like, are you friendly with your competition? I guess you could say. I don't know. Like,
also the divide between installers and service.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
Huge divide.
Yeah, big divide.
I will say there's even a divide between it's almost like installers, and then you have dealers, and then you have servicers, and even
the brand themselves sometimes.
Right. And then it's all on a different page. Like, we all need to be on the same page.
Yeah, everyone's fighting against each other and blaming people when we all should just work together. I mean, just a lot of stuff that I've learned from Sam with installs that I never knew.
Right.
So we all can learn from each other.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping that we are able to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
we're on the same team, you know, but
Yeah.
there is that divide for sure, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your role now as a technician. So I guess it's considered a little bit of a slow season in New York right now. Are you guys seeing that? Are you kind of slow? Are you busy? What kind of jobs are you seeing a lot of? Like, I want to talk a little bit about that.
So definitely a little bit slower, but we're not feeling it as much at the moment because, you know, we're less techs at our company at the moment. So
Okay.
it's still somewhat busy. Seeing a lot of lot of install issues. Again, it's not to blame the installer, but maybe like 70% of the issues we run into are install issues.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, those damn installers.
Yeah, always.
But yeah, I mean that's a lot of what we're seeing.
Now, obviously, I'm assuming you do some warranty work or a lot of warranty
Yeah.
work. So how is the warranty side? Are they covering install-related issues? We see a lot of different companies run their businesses different.
Yeah.
Some people will say, "Oh, it's a install-related issue. We're not paying for that service call," or you know. So how does it work for you?
So I think they would rather get it taken care of in that, you know, through whoever's going to be there.
Just get it fixed,
Yeah,
basically.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm a big advocate of that.
Yeah.
We've gone out to jobs many times, and I just want to make the customer happy.
Exactly.
Whatever
Yeah.
it takes.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when it comes to installs, I see certain things. If I can fix it and I know I can, I'll just do it instead of having them trying to find an installer, having them come out and redo it. It's just easier.
Yeah. No,
And we did say we're on the same page, and it's going to be like a bash the installer thing, but it's not. I mean, the installers are also coming after a contractor who
100%.
may have not put the electrical in the right place or the water in the right place or whatever. So
yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
see that
everyone's
a
got to
lot.
improvise all the way down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think definitely our role isn't, we don't want to bash anyone.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not what we're into. But like, there's always more to the story. It's not always what you see for face value, right? So
Yeah.
you can get there and think it's an install or an installer problem, but it was a contractor who's probably never installed one of these
Yeah.
1,000-pound units before, and they don't know that
Yeah.
if you use an impact wrench on full blast, you're going to
Yeah.
strip the legs, and you know,
Seen that many
listen, that
times.
happens a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I've had to go to 48-inch built-in units and
Yeah.
pull them out, tip them over, and change out because now it
Oh
becomes
my
a servicer problem,
Yeah.
right? So that's where it gets a little tricky. But no, it's not. We're not pointing the blame at anyone. We're just saying
No.
what we see as technicians. Of course, everyone's going to see different problems with different
Yeah.
installers, et cetera. I mean, we've been to installs, me and Mike for sure, that
Yep.
they hooked it up where I would think it was like a under the counter single oven or speed oven, and they were completely missing a leg.
Oh,
Like there was
yeah.
no leg there at
Yep.
all. And they wired this up, and the customer's like, "It's not heating. It's broken." And we get there, and
Yeah.
so I mean, technically, it kind of is a little installer problem, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's also an electrical issue that
Yep.
needs to be resolved.
Yeah, and,
So-
it's a microwave, but it's a microwave like a speed oven,
Right.
so it
Yeah.
does need the 220.
Exactly.
It's there's a lot of gray area, ton
Yeah.
of gray area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely see that a lot, and
I think we ended up, just rewiring and fixing it?
yeah, we just took care of it while we were there. I mean, it wasn't anything that was like crazy, but
Yeah.
I think we pulled it out, and then they called an electrician to come to run the proper line there, and then we went back to hook it back up, I think.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, because we talked to the installer on the
Yeah.
phone, and he's like, "I just did wire for wire, basically," and no fault to him. He's not an electrician, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, we wanted to just get it resolved, whatever we had to do to get it resolved. So we're happy that worked out in that scenario. But
Yeah, because she thought she was going to have to get a new unit. She was so upset. And then when
Yeah.
we figured it out, she was
Yeah,
happy at that point.
yeah, she was definitely very happy.
How about you guys? Are you guys busy at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, we slowed down a little bit. I mean, we're slowing down a little bit, but you know what? I don't mind it either.
No.
I talk about this a lot. Like, I wouldn't have the time to focus on this type of stuff if we didn't
Yeah,
have a
no.
little bit of slow time.
Yeah.
This took a lot of energy. I had to figure all this out. Never did this before.
Looks awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Really.
Sam.
I appreciate
Great job.
that. So it was a lot a lot of research and time. Now, if we were running 7 service calls a day,
Yeah,
we
we
wouldn't have
never
the
would
time
have.
to do this.
Yeah.
No.
So, my goal was in the off season, we always like to hone in on our business.
Yep.
Let's focus on what we can do to make us better and more efficient in the busy season.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. And it works for us. So,
Yeah.
We're happy about that.
Yeah, you got to be able to work on the back end office stuff, straighten out what you need to get done.
Yeah, get your shop organized, make
needs
sure
to
your
be
trucks
done.
are up to date on everything. And,
Yeah.
So let's ask, what truck do you drive? We always like to talk about that too.
Yeah.
What kind of truck is it?
I'm in one of the I'll leave that part, but it's a Ford.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
one of the bigger Fords. Like, I think what you guys have. Or you in the rounds.
Yeah, we have a Transit 250
Transit, yeah.
and we have a Sprinter. And we always mention about how important it is to have truck stock, and I'm pretty sure you guys carry a lot of truck stock.
heavy truck.
Truck stock, which
Yeah.
is huge. I mean, if you want to be successful, you want to make money,
Yeah.
and you want to make customers happy, first time completes where it's at.
Yeah, frankly, I'm shocked when the part is not there.
Really?
It does happen, but yeah.
Really? That's impressive, though.
Yeah, they do a good job with truck stock.
That's good. You can't carry every single part. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, when I get some customers like, oh, you don't have the part, you don't carry it. It's like, you know how many parts there is? Like millions and billions of parts.
Yeah, and we want to get it done the first time. Nothing is better than keeping the customer
Yeah,
happy, getting it done the first time. Everyone's happy, but
Yeah,
you know,
me and him have talked about that too. It's like nothing like ripping a unit apart and having to put it back together without having the part.
exactly.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's a shitty feeling. We don't like doing that.
No.
So, what about cleanliness on your truck? We're huge into cleanliness. So we clean our truck every week. We go through it every week. I mean, just you as a person, what are your thoughts on that? Some guys don't care.
So, full disclosure.
Here we go.
I mean, I had a baby last year, so
That's
we
true.
got
Congratulations.
Congrats, Sam.
we got a newborn, but
Yeah.
no, it could be a little bit cleaner. I guess management of where my tools are and everything could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
As far as cleanliness, it's accessible.
You know
It's-
all your parts are. You
Yeah,
guys have
yeah.
it labeled, like you know exactly where everything is. Certain
Right.
areas.
Yes, they are all labeled.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's important.
Certain sections for wolf and sub and different bins and everything.
Oh, good.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's good.
Yeah, we kind of have the same principle, but we carry
Yeah.
so much for every brand. It's insane. We basically, I mean,
You
think,
have stock here too, right?
yeah, we have a
Yeah,
lot of
we have a
stock
lot of
here.
stock in the back.
On my truck, I basically do it like cooking, laundry, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
break it down and then kind of go from there. But we're doing a lot of different brands. We're not just doing, 3 brands or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
it's,
So,
it's a lot for us.
let me ask you, in terms of winterization, we talked about that our last podcast or the one before, and how important it is to winterize units. And I mean, come springtime, do you see a lot of people with cracked water valves or draining issue because they didn't properly winterize their units?
Yep.
A ton. I mean, you guys are going to see more out here because you've got out
Right.
east and,
Yeah.
there's a lot more outdoor kitchens there. I'm primarily doing Nassau, Queens area, a little bit less of the outdoor kitchens, some Great Neck though.
Right.
But cracked valves, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of water crack valves. And that's not technically covered under a warranty because technically you're supposed to have it winterized.
And no one wants to put a cover on the barbecue.
Right.
No, I see that a
The
lot.
built-in grill. No
Yeah.
one-
Mhm.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. We've seen that many, many times.
And everything rusts, no matter what.
Yeah,
I mean,
doesn't
it's
matter.
crazy.
Stainless steel rusts.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's stainless steel. It's not supposed to rust. Yeah, well, you also live on the ocean.
Yeah.
So, like,
gonna
your
rust.
skin is going to rust here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's also something we try to hone in on a little
Yeah.
bit. We try to talk about basically a lot of maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
Any tips and tricks you have to offer about maintenance? I mean, even if we've mentioned it, I think it's worth you mentioning anyway.
Condenser cleaning is the biggest
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
That's a
as you
huge
say.
one. Yep.
And, we've all been to the ones where you pull a carpet off and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
and everyone's so shocked. Oh, I never knew that was there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, but again, that falls back on maybe vendors or install or
Yeah, they didn't explain it enough.
or if in some respects it's like you're kind of lucky if you have a service call early on. Like my appliance is already
Exactly.
broke is the thing where they'll say they're all upset that there's an issue, but we can go there, clear it up pretty quickly. It's usually new appliances, something simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can explain the appliance to them so that there's, they know that they've got to clean the condenser, change the filters.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head for sure.
It can
with
be a
that.
good thing.
It is a
It is
it's
a good
great
thing.
thing.
Customers
actually.
love it.
Yeah, that's
in
a great
warranty
thing.
calls, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought here.
When it comes to, let me ask you a question, Sam. When you use your parts in your truck, How do you replenish them? What do they do? Do they send them to your house? Do you have to go pick them up?
So we have a courier. You guys know him. But,
Yeah.
So we have a courier that brings the parts, and once we use a part, it'll check it off in the system, and then they'll send it back down for us.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
it'll be back in the van the next
So he
day.
comes right to your truck, swaps it out.
Ideally the next day, sometimes a few days later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to also make mention about customer education a little bit. I remember talking to customers in the past, and they would tell me that when they bought a suite of appliances from said vendor, they would send out a salesman or a rep to the home. Don't know if they're still doing this, but if you're listening out there, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Pay a guy, not that much money, he can go out and kind of explain to people how to use their appliances and maintain them properly.
Yeah,
and we'd
be a
love to
great
help
thing.
you explain to them how to maintain it. We're into that for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're doing that anymore. And in a way, I feel like some of it does fall on the installer a little bit, but it's really not their responsibility.
Yeah,
I
would agree, but I mean, for us, as far as responsibility, but for us, we always did. We would shine up the appliance
that's
after
great.
it, let them know, preheat it, give them tips how to clean it,
Make sure it's working.
We go to new installs and they don't know anything about the appliance.
No.
Literally nothing. And nowadays, I think a lot of things aren't even coming with books anymore. It comes with like a QR code.
Yep.
No one's doing that.
Yeah, not everybody. Yeah,
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't like it.
but I will say though, so this is I'll admit to. Before getting into service, I didn't know what the condenser was.
For
And
sure.
I was an installer.
Yeah, right.
I'm seeing these appliances, I'm installing them all day
Well,
long.
I feel like you probably knew what it was, but you didn't realize the importance of what it was.
Yeah, and I wasn't telling customers to clean it because
Right.
that was not something that I knew about.
Right.
As far as how to use it, setting it up, temperatures and stuff, we would go over the basics. Dishwasher was a good one. I would give a little tutorial.
Yeah.
Show them how to raise the racks up and down.
Right.
That is a thing most people don't know.
That's true.
No,
you
with a
know.
dishwasher, right?
Yeah.
I still
That's
get
true.
that.
We see that a lot, actually. Speaking on that, we see a lot of people. They one side's up, one side's down. Now
All
the
the
door
time.
doesn't close properly.
Yeah.
So that's how important something as simple as that. The customer really should know that
Exactly.
to prevent a service call, basically.
Cleaning filters, another one.
Yeah.
Or replacing filters. So I would go over some of that stuff. But as far as knowing what a condenser was at that time, I wasn't sure.
Right.
So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
But most customers will say my installer didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Not with certain, like I said, the vendor that I work for, they were really good about it. Our boss was always really clear. We have to give them a tutorial, basically whatever we know.
Yeah,
so.
some manufacturers I think require that too.
Yeah.
I think
They should.
Miele requires you to go over some of that and hook it up to their home app and stuff. I think some of these companies out there, they do require the installer to know some of that. But listen, this is just
Especially
my
if you're
personal opinion.
certified.
My personal
certified,
opinion
yeah.
is it should not. All that responsibility shouldn't fall on the installer.
No.
It really shouldn't. Of course, the customer they need to be educated on this stuff.
And the customer's not reading the book either.
No way.
You know what's crazy? Side note: when you buy a vehicle, doesn't the
Right.
salesman go in the car?
Yes, he does.
He walks through every. So why doesn't that happen with appliances?
I know. Some of these appliances cost as much as cars. So
Exactly. Yeah. Sub-Zero.
But
It's crazy.
do you read your car manual?
No, but I mean, but
at least he's out.
at least they come in there and give you a quick intro of hooking your phone up to Bluetooth or something. At least they're doing that.
And the appliances come with Bluetooth these days.
Yeah,
it's
they do.
crazy.
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I mean, the technology that's going into a lot of this stuff now, it's really cool. I mean, I think it's GE just came out with like a diagnosing module, which I've been talking to Mike about purchasing. It's really cool, man. You can put this thing in diagnostic. You can read all the error codes right through the app on your phone.
Nice.
It literally links up, similar probably to what some of the stuff that you guys are doing.
Sub has, yeah.
Yeah.
They have connected diagnostics, so you hook a wire up and you can do it
Wirelessly.
remotely through the laptop. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
basically
cool.
talking to the unit, and you can manipulate it or do whatever.
Force updates,
Right, which is I think is really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I wish more appliances did that.
I know.
But then you get into the whole authorized servicer
Yeah.
thing and like everything, So
Which-
a lot of gatekeeping that goes on.
Yeah,
and
there is.
I completely understand it from the
Business side?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
brand side of
Yes.
it. But the customer suffers there, right?
yeah, they
It
do.
is.
You know,
I wish they would allow, I don't think it's fair that, you have to be an authorized servicer to have some of that stuff, because at the end of the day, we're taking care of your product.
Yeah,
we're helping
yeah.
your customers, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. I
That
guess.
always agitates me too. I do
Yeah.
get that backside of it of like the the legality maybe and like some of the secrets of the unit. I understand that, but I also feel like if you're a technician and a customer calls you to work on this unit, first of all, I also feel it's the customer's choice to who they want to service their unit. Right? Shouldn't it be? I think it should be.
Definitely.
So the customer should be able to call said servicer and just say, hey, I have this unit. Can you come take a look? And when we get there, if we need to call Techline, it should just be an open conversation with Techline.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not asking for the hidden secrets of the unit.
No.
Like, we want to get the customer taken care of at the end of the day.
I just spoke with another guy recently, and he told me some tech lines won't even answer the phone if you're not certified.
I think you have to be for a lot
BSH.
of manufacturers. BSH.
BSH won't talk to you at all.
You have to be certified or one of their authorized
servicers. Yeah. I mean, but there's a lot of other brands out there that we've come across that we barely even hear of, and we call them, and their tech support's amazing.
Yeah, they want to get the customer taken care of.
They don't care what it takes. They're like, just get it fixed.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a nice Midwesterner on the phone.
Yeah, most of the time that's what it is. Yeah, most of the time that's exactly what it is.
You get it. So Sam, do you still do a lot of training? Do they send you to school for being a technician?
Last training we did was, let's say about 6 months ago.
Really?
I think as on the whole, since COVID, less people are going to the factory in general.
Yeah.
A lot of the trainings.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Are remote. They bring.
You guys have a trainer though, right? Your company.
Yes. Yeah. He's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a huge.
He's developing programs.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Because you have a direct contact to that guy.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's I mean they're a big company. They definitely they put a lot into that.
I remember pre-COVID when I was working with Sam and his company, I used to go to training a lot.
So, at the factory, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Well, that's when we were working with Sub-Zero and Wolf.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go February 30th.
Shut down.
2020.
Yeah.
And then the lockdown happened like February.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And now that's the rest is history then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So talk about I want to hear a little bit about your personal life and business life mix. How does it work? Like, how does the mix work? I mean, obviously you're a new father. Busy season. I'm assuming you're working a lot.
Yeah.
How are you handling the stress of that? You know, I mean, I remember
It's not easy.
being stressed a couple of times.
Definitely. Well, first, I mean, being a father is the best thing I've ever done.
I told you that.
100%.
I told you that when I found out
That's
you were
what
having a
both
baby.
of you guys said that.
It's an amazing thing.
It really is, though. I mean, that goes without saying. It's just such a blessing. And it's all worth it when you get home and they're just, so excited to see you. It's nice to be someone's like favorite person in the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, as far as the work-life balance, it is tough. I mean, we live in Brooklyn and we work on the island, so that
a lot of drive time.
A lot of drive.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know, Brooklyn, Queens, I believe is serviced by Sam's company, but they also do Long Island.
Queens and Long Island for us.
Oh, no more Brooklyn.
No, Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn is.
Brooklyn's out. Okay, so Sam lives in Brooklyn, services Queens, and so he's all over the place. Is basically what we're getting at. He's all over the place. And listen, windshield time is a big thing. I mean, it will beat you up,
especially in a commercial vehicle.
Oh
too.
yeah,
we're plagued with parkways over here. So
yeah, no parkways.
That's really frustrating.
And you're a giant billboard. You're representing a company.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be on your P's and Q's on that. And it that's important.
And especially over there by the city, the drivers get progressively worse.
Oh yeah,
more angry,
more populated, more angry, depending on the season and all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing you're not in Brooklyn anymore. Really, working there, that's got to be brutal. Moving a truck like that around in Brooklyn.
Forget about it.
When we were talking about installs, I did want to say, I mean, I spoke with another guy recently. He was telling me when they used to install in Brooklyn and Manhattan, sometimes they would have to hire a crane, remove like a brownstone in Park Slope, for example.
Right.
They'd have to remove an upper window and lift the unit in with a crane.
Did you ever do anything like that?
It's the craziest, I guess one of the craziest installs deliveries that we did or we assisted on. We're going up a really rickety back deck down in Merrick with like a Blue Star. I think it was a Blue Star built in.
Heavy duty.
And it's 3 or 4 guys that we were just assisting because we were there to install and they were delivering at the same time. There's a bit of overlap on the timing. And they lifted it up this back deck and we were just kind of like, this is insane.
Wow. I had that in the Hamptons. A customer had to pay for the crane.
I was there.
Yep. and it cost a
removing
lot of
windows
money.
and stuff.
And just imagine if she had a return, which I think that was the issue.
She had major issues with all of her appliances.
Oh my god!
and she would
like,
have to pay for the crane.
Yep. She's like, I'm gonna have to get a crane to come here and take this thing out of here if I have to. Imagine that. Imagine like you're getting a high-end appliance and you have to purchase or rent a crane for the day. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother level.
Big money right there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I mean, the driving and driving is probably the toughest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I listen to podcasts, audio books, music. But
yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow, please.
Like and subscribe.
That's right.
Soon Sam's going to be listening to us.
That's right. You better be.
Every day.
I will. But so the work-life balance is a little bit of an issue. But it's. You make it work.
Yeah, you get used to it after a while,
I mean, listen, your family is the utmost of importance. Everything else comes second in my eyes.
That's funny how that changes, right?
Yeah.
I was like a real yes man before. And now there's the thought of the family first, the baby first. And before I say yes, I consider, well, what does
how's
that
this going to affect my family?
Exactly.
Yeah. Am I not going to be home for dinner every night this week or whatever it is?
Miss my son's first birthday, stuff like that,
Hell no.
Which is crazy. Like, you don't think of that about appliance repair, but like it is. I would say it's a pretty demanding job.
I mean, you guys see it too. You drive to the Hamptons, so
every day.
Yeah, that's we talk about that in other podcasts many times in other episodes, and it does take a beating on you.
You talk about the summer versus winter.
Yeah, we talk about that. Yeah, we talk about the trade parade.
Just
we talk about all that stuff.
Headlights.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
you got to deal with that on the way home, right?
Yeah,
more so than
that's
going
rough,
out.
man.
That's crazy.
That's the thing about the city a little bit. It's rough in terms of that, the traffic, and I feel like we can zip to a service call 15 minutes away from each other, no problem. You're not doing that. It's very rare you're doing that.
Even when we were servicing Brooklyn before,
right?
You can do north to south Brooklyn. It's like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're up in Williamsburg or Greenpoint, you got to get to
and listen,
Coney Island.
The business side of it, right? I like to explain to people like there's evaluation that goes into the cost of that and the cost effect of that, right? Because now we're paying someone an hour to commute an hour, and you're making minimal amount on that warranty job or whatever it may be, and you have to weigh your options at that point. Be like, is it really worth doing warranty for this rate, or do you go to the company and ask for an increase? Or it all depends. Different services do different things. We talk about this frequently also, where we kind of pick and choose who we want to service based on how they run their company. Like, we want to be in line with them. I don't want to be bumping heads with manufacturers. So I think everyone needs to keep that in mind especially if you're starting up a business or if you're in business and want to just get a little better. Look at those things; they matter. So
how many calls you do a day, Sam? Right now,
I would say anywhere between 5 and 7, 5 and 8. Some days we get 9.
Wow.
Are you doing a lot of rebuilds?
What was the last rebuild I did last week? I'd say maybe one a week, one every 2 weeks.
Not horrible.
Okay, not bad.
Give me a 650 or something like that. I'm happy with. But, I'll tell you a funny one the other day. I went. So this is slightly install related. Slightly.
I love it. Let's hear it.
So Long Island City. I get there maybe 6 o'clock. I'm thinking I probably can't get in at this time anyway, and the super's like, "No, come on in."
Of course,
like,
don't worry.
All right. So we go in there. I'm servicing the unit, and I look underneath the unit, and there's a PEX water line. I say, "You just look at these things. All you have to do is look at them, and they'll crack." And I just lifted it out to show him, and then just started spraying.
Oh my gosh,
that's my worst nightmare.
6 o'clock. The shut-off's behind the unit. How do we get to it? We have to pull it out.
Oh my god.
The guy's saying we can't pull it out. He's worried we're going to damage the floor. We need to.
What about the water damaging the floor?
So I'm stood there holding this line. There's just water tripping down my hand.
These are stories no one would understand unless you're in this industry.
Dude, when that happens to me, my heart drops.
It gets worse though. So we do so right now I've got the water line is dripping. I tape it up. Now we've got to repair the line. We use a little John Guest fitting to figure it out. But we're now looking for the shut off. He's supposed to give prior notice to all the tenants that they're going to shut certain apartments off.
Yep.
He spends a half an hour looking for it. Then I go and help him. We're in the basement, second floor. We find the water shut off for the cold water in the 3 apartments that correspond with where we're at, and the 4th floor corridor in like a drop ceiling.
Wow.
We shut it off, wait half an hour for the pressure to drop. We've got all the faucets running, the bath and everything. Finally shuts off. We make the repair, and when he turns it back on, it's leaking from another place.
Oh my goodness.
God.
So we do the same thing.
That's a bad day.
Same thing. Half an hour later, make that repair. Finally get it done, and he schedules us to go back a week later to pull it out, and they'll have a plumber on site to replace it with a braided hose.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. When I go out to do that, as we're putting it back together, I move the filter dryer back into place, and it snaps off at the filter dryer. Now I've got a seal system leak.
Oh my God.
And oh my God.
How many hours were you there for?
That was a bad day.
Got there at 7:30, waited till like 9 for the building to open, for work to be able to be done. I mean, I couldn't get in at that time, but they let me in the time before.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And another 2.5 hours replacing that filter dryer and charging it up.
I mean, I so many times I've let that type of scenario like get the best of me.
I almost did.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know, it's really hard.
It's not easy.
Well, Sam, thanks for coming on.
We're
so happy to have you here.
This was really fun.
We are definitely looking forward to more guests like you to come on. So don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share.
Yes, everyone.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Just In Case podcast. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.